Good morning. How are you, Larry?
Good. How are you doing?
Pretty good. My first question to you is, wouldn't you like to ride on a beautiful balloon? Wouldn't you, huh? Would you like to?
It depends where the balloon is from and if it gets shot down or not.
All right. Well, I just, thought, it's kind of the topic of the day.
Yeah.
So what's floating away and what could get punctured by the CPI tomorrow?
That's a good question. The two biggest markets that I'm watching first are number one, bond yields.
Yeah.
So 390 is where I'd want to see these yields stay below. I'd rather
Okay.
see them break down below 340, 330. But the
Right.
trick to tomorrow is nobody knows how the CPI is going to come in. And more importantly, nobody knows how the market's going to react. Because as we know, the reaction to the number is much more important than the number itself.
Exactly. So I know you're also, I forgot the metaphor you use, but you use yields and the dollar, and one's the bus and one's driving the bus. Which one is it?
Yeah, so well, it's the dollar and then everything else. So the dollar is the bus driver and
Yeah, like,
everything else, bond yields, stocks,
right.
commodities, they're all so the dollar's got some strength that I think is cautionary.
Yeah.
It had a sharp reversal after that jobs number came in. That jobs number was through the roof. And you can see on this bar, big reversal. It had some more follow through last week. First weekly close over the 10 week, going back to what is that, October.
All right.
And really, I heard, was it Blake that was talking about gold before?
Yeah.
Yeah, gold is at a very important level right here. So gold had a huge outside week reversal after that jobs number. It's holding the 10 week, but I agree with Blake. It does look weaker here.
Vulnerable. Yeah.
Yeah, it looks vulnerable. Now here's the thing: if we get a really good reaction to CPI and the dollar comes back down, then gold's fine. But right now, gold, definitely does look vulnerable.
Okay. Yeah. Would that down there, those two moving averages that converge might be a great place to re-enter gold longs. What do you think?
It's possible. I always, in my head, I always expect a 50% retracement at some point. So, just by using round math, 1620, 1980, what is that? 360 points. So
Yeah, quite an
180,
impact.
anywhere from 1800, maybe 1820, 1840. That's if it pulls back. I'm not going to predict what happens tomorrow, because if the
No one can.
CPI is a good number and the dollar falls back down, then gold's back over 1900. So I don't have any predictions, but I do know the levels that I'm watching, and I know, what's the catalyst for higher and what's the catalyst for lower.
Is your VIX chart predicting anything? That's what it's supposed to do.
The VIX chart,
Yeah.
yeah, what I didn't like about VIX last week is it closed back over the 10-week moving average. So if we take a look, it closed at 2053. It's trading higher this morning, and that was
Yeah.
the first weekly close over the 10-week going back to October.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that could be signaling the market's expecting a little more volatility.
Yeah.
So there's a couple things: the dollar higher, VIX higher, bond yields higher. I think all of those things just need to have us, on high alert.
Okay. All right. And sectors that really a fantastic January, started off good in February. Uh, I know that you consider the S&P a range trade, correct?
Yeah, I think the S&P right now, if we just take a look on the chart, 3,800 has held on the weekly close for a while. 4,100 was resistance. I was glad to see it get through there, but I think 3,800 on the low side, maybe 42 to 4,300 on the high side. Now, I will say this. I think the S&P chart overall is a better chart than we've seen in a while. You had a higher high.
Yeah.
You had a higher low. You've got the 10-week through the 40-week. But this higher high, I think, was pretty significant. And if you take a look, it did it on some volume that came in. But, Dale, and you and I have talked about this before. I'm looking forward to the day when we can really just lock into the charts and we don't have to worry every day, well, the chart's doing this, but the CPI or the Fed or Powell says something. I'm looking forward to the day, and it might be, I don't know,
Never.
a year from now before we get out of this hiking cycle. So for now, I'm just playing it a little bit more defensive. I've got more cash than usual. My position sizes are a little bit smaller because it's really hard, I think, to lock and load on any idea when you know that at any given time, because that jobs report really came out of nowhere and turned everything on a dime quickly. So, I've got my positions and I've got some charts. I'll go through some charts quickly for your listeners. So and I'm going to hit each sector, but we'll go quickly. So AMD in semiconductors, it pulled back last week, but it pulled back on much lower volume. It had a high volume breakout week, reclaimed this 40-week. The 40-week is trying to flatten out. Now, obviously, if the market pulls back more, then semis are going to pull back too. But I think this chart has some pretty good potential as long as it holds over, let's call it 74 to 75 in the bank stock. So look at this. Bank of New York.
Even better.
It's higher for 14 of the last 17 weeks. It's been higher for 8 weeks in a row, 8 weeks in a row. And the 40-week, everything is turned up. So I'm not sure, why it's higher, but it is.
Higher yields, better spread.
But here's the thing. There's been a lot of volatility in bond yields recently, and this was up, whether bond yields went down or bond yields went up, this is still trending higher.
Bond yields been sideways, but they started to look like they were going to take a hit last week. There was a very negative bond auction last week. The 30-year was very underbid. Santelli gave it a D-.
Yeah.
A bad grade.
Yeah, bonds. I think with that,
you could change it to a B+. When you used to bring your report card home, Larry, when you were a little boy, did you ever change a D- into a B+?
I used to hide my report card. I used to tell my parents that the dog ate it at school, but no, I don't think. I think when I was a kid, I was too scared to try any of that stuff.
All right, well, Anthony looks like Anthony did it. He's laughing. So I know more of you guys changed a D- to a B+.
Oh, sure.
Right. Anyway, okay, so
emerging markets. We need to watch this because once again, this is just a weak dollar trade.
Right.
And it was starting to break out, and that jobs report came out. So, I'm long emerging markets. So I'd like, but my stop isn't too far off, but I'd like to see, obviously, and I think a lot of people would, but I'd like to see that CPI come in and give us a weaker dollar, but we just don't know. So Freeport, same thing. That's a weak dollar trade. So it's been holding this 10-week on the close for a while, but at the end of the day, whatever happens with the dollar, if the dollar reverses back down, then I think this is a good point to take a look at Freeport. but we don't know. So
If the dollar
outside of,
rallies, could it pull back to the 2 moving averages underneath? There's a lot of space there.
there's a lot of support at $40
Mhm.
and then at 37. So there's a pretty good support range, 37 to 40 on this chart. But I'm very small as far as the weak dollar positions right now, because I do expect tomorrow. What I do is I prepare for the worst. And then I look for the best, but I prepare for the worst. So, tomorrow my expectation is we get, and this is not a prediction, this is just my mindset. My mindset is we get a CPI that the market doesn't like, bond yields go higher, the dollar goes higher, all these things come down, and then we have to see where the smoke clears. I don't necessarily think that you're going to see new lows, but we could get pressed tomorrow, so we'll see. But if you take a look, defense, so Lockheed Martin, and I don't know that this is really a weak dollar play or anything like that, but Lockheed had a big breakout. They took it right down to the 40-week, which is that green line, took it to the 40-week. A lot of support here at 435. And then this, and this could have to do with what's happening with China, the balloons, all that stuff.
Well, I heard that the missiles, it is costly to take these down. Each one of these missiles are like 700 grand.
Oh yeah. Yeah. And anytime we still have what's happening, with Russia and Ukraine, that's been going on for a while. China and the US, that's back in the news, but Lockheed has been a nice longer term chart and very close to a potential, just by looking at the chart, if this can clear 490 to 500.
That's the best chart you've shown, that and the Bank of New York were the two.
I got another good one for you. How about Exxon?
Yeah. Wow. Yeah.
And I'll tell you this, Exxon, and I've got a position here, but Exxon has really stood out in the energy group because a lot of these energy stocks like, Occidental broke down.
Yeah, a lot of them did.
A lot of them did. And Exxon broke out to new highs. Now, here's the thing last week, and I know you've got people, listeners that are in Europe. If you take a look, Shell is breaking out in Europe. BP had a big breakout last week. Wow. That's over in Europe.
Yeah.
TTE, which is based out of France, I believe, that's very close.
Yeah.
But what these stocks share in common is they have a very high dividend yield. They generally tend to be bigger market caps, and they're pretty well capitalized. Because if you take a look at Oxy, the Oxy chart's not a really good chart at all.
Yeah.
It started to break down last week. So, I think like every market with stocks, you really have to pay attention to each individual chart. You can't just really say, well, energy is good or bad, tech is good or bad, because in each sector right now, there's some really good charts and there's some charts I would stay away from.
Yeah, it's really become a stock picker's market.
It really is, and we hear that a lot, but because of this, because of this volatility and all this, and I couldn't tell you why Exxon's making a new high and Occidental was, breaking down, but we don't really need to know the why. Just, focus on the chart and what's happening.
Price action king, Larry Tentarelli. Anything you want to wrap it with, bro?
Yeah, sure. Let me tell people how to find me real quick.
Okay.
So my website is bluechipdaily.com.
Okay.
You can see other, technical ideas. What I do is I post daily technical alerts for members, every single day, intraday. I don't trade very much intraday. I'm not a day trader or a swing trader, but on my website, we've got people that are anywhere from long-term investors to short-term options traders. So what I do is I just post the ideas. I might post a stock like Mobileye, and then I might post a stock like Merck. So I post different ideas for the subscribers. On the Twitter, that's where you and I met at LMT 978. And then I think tomorrow, is a very big day. I do. We've been seeing these posts online that inflation is dead and nobody pays attention to the CPI. And I think tomorrow, both of those things are going to get pressed. And I'd like to see a big move to the upside, but I'm prepared for, a little shakeout, and then we'll go from there and see where the smoke clears.
Okay, prepare for everything and anything, because
That's right.
Because they both can happen all the time.
Yep.
So, all right. So from a pro, Larry Tentarelli, check him out. And thank you, Larry. Some great ideas you shared, some nice pearls. And I really like that metaphor about the Dixie being the bus driver.
It really is. It really is. Hopefully the bus doesn't run us over.
Yeah. May your cup runneth over, not the bus.
That's right.
All right, Larry. Adios, my trading warrior brother. Larry Tentarelli, everybody. Hope you enjoyed it. Check him out on Twitter. He's a great follow, LMT978, and he has a great eye for individual issues. So appreciate you being here, Larry.
Thank you, Dale. Have a great week, my friend.
All right, be rooting for you tomorrow, buddy.
Same here, brother.
Do a nice dance tomorrow.
We'll keep our fingers crossed.
All right, so everyone, thank you for hanging out with us, and hope you enjoyed Larry and the team. Do some homework tonight and get ready for tomorrow. And don't just count your pips, count your blessings. See everyone then. You're very welcome, Monica, Patrick, Sinatra. Adios.
Hey traders, this is Blake Morrow with ForexAnalytix. Thanks for stopping by our YouTube channel. Don't forget to like these videos, share them, and subscribe to our channel so you don't miss any of the content that we provide here for free. Thanks for stopping by. I'll see you in the next video.